Mini-episode 1464 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You'll want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello and welcome to FDH Lounge mini-episode 1464, our Billions episode 6.12 preview. I'm FDH Managing Partner Rick Morris here with our top 5 notes of interest heading into the Season 6 finale. Number 5, The Rise and Fall of Wendy's Book. We've mentioned previously that Wendy has been something of an inconsistent character, and the charitable explanation is that the writers are portraying her as someone who often doesn't know what she wants. As such a strong character, this seems hard to believe. But the idea that deep down she doesn't have a clue about her own life is getting stronger and stronger. Consider that she decided, on a whim, to write a thinly fictionalized book that would make a joke out of the professional confidences placed in her, only to abandon the idea inside of one episode. No longer married to Chuck at home or Bobby at work, Wendy is adrift, no matter how much she confides in her new monk buddy. She can't keep being the only character on the show not to progress in the post-Axe era. Number 4, the succession race heats up then cools down. It was funny to see Taylor and Philip trace out in one episode the JR and Bobby succession storyline that carried an entire season of Dallas. The resolution of the two moving towards being friendly rivals seemed less contrived than the rivalry itself, since they haven't seemed to be big opposites at any point. It still seems like it's Philip's job to lose as the quintessential Mike Prince insider, while Taylor has been an outsider through every incarnation of the firm, but this show delights in producing the unexpected. Number 3, Chuck's big new platform is Dark Money in the Shadows? The Mike Prince money counter is an interesting touch that Chuck couldn't have funded as New York Attorney General, but since freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose, he can now put that and many other elements in play. Seemingly, everyone's thoughts turn to what Chuck's next professional move would be after losing his job. Prince's efforts to domesticate him were doomed to failure, but the larger point is that Chuck's new 24/7 job is being a thorn in Mike's side. Number 2, Prince forges on to his ultimate goal, even as he suffers defeat after defeat this season. Having vanquished Chuck, it's easy to forget how many haymakers the former AG landed on him this season. Quashing the subway car initiative and then the Olympics altogether, convincing Dave to seize back the land bank acquisitions with no compensation, and now the death of Mike's money. Considering that it was Jock Jeffcoat and not Axe who got Chuck fired from his last job, when you look at the damage done by Chuck and Mike to each other this season, it may very well exceed the total of what Chuck and Bobby did to each other the previous 5 seasons. And now we learn Prince's endgame, which got more obvious as the episode ensued. By the way, nice Dwight Eisenhower reference early on, when the show would climax with an I Like Mike bumper sticker. But what's the deal with 2028? Wouldn't Mike be preparing for, the next election cycle? Did this show suddenly get set in 2026 with nobody telling us? Number 1, what's the season-ending twist that's going to have Dave jailing either Chuck or Mike? Previews for next week show that it's a zero-sum game on somebody going down, and the show's brief written preview indicates that Chuck tries a daring gambit to try to stop Mike. Our guess would be that Chuck exposes Mike's role in the scheme to bring down Axe last year in a way that purports to show fraud. Frankly, both of them have dirt on each other with a conspiracy that they formed at that time. But regardless, the show looks like it's going to live up to its tradition of ending each season with a bang, and seeing what they do to try to top themselves is going to be epic. Thank you for joining us for this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.